Hello, I'm Stephen Ollie, and I'll be your anchor today. This evening on the Prime Meridian News, we'll be discussing the novel Meridian by Alice Walker. To help us do this, we brought in a special guest who will help us give us a rundown of the novel. Good evening from the Prime Meridian News. This evening, we brought in a special guest who's going to give us a rundown of the novel. His name is Truman Hild, and he'll begin when he's ready. Well, the novel takes place in a quiet town in Georgia during the civil rights movement. There was this young girl named Meridian. She had a rough life growing up. Her mama considered her a burden, and her daddy was just not around. By the time she was 17, she was married and had her first child. And then, because as a child she was raped, she wasn't that into sex. And back in that day, all men just want sex. And so I was like, well, I'll help you out, if you gotta step your game up, girl. And so she continued to be like how she is and didn't go with sex. And so he left her. And so she lived her life with most people coming in and out her life. Like her friend Lynn and me, we got together. But at the time I was in love with Meridian, but we tried a relationship, but it didn't work. So I left her for Lynn, but then Lynn got fat, and I was trying to go back to her, and so back to Meridian, since that's another story for another time. But back to Meridian. So although she faced many problems, she didn't let them get in the way of her work. She was all about getting African Americans the right to vote during the civil rights movement. And so every minute she had, she would try to make them go and vote so they could get all the power they wanted. But it isn't that hard. She had to vow to kill if she needed to, and all of that unnecessary business. But it is what it is. But most people looked up to her. She was just a woman. One time when I first met her, she was battling a tank. She saved children and pulled out the people out of the tank, and they were arrested. And her famous quote from that, and I'll never forget, is that if somebody has to go, it might as well be the one who's ready. Which was really touching to me, because you gotta be ready to do whatever you want. And if you're not ready at the time when it's time to start, then you gotta chillax. Not chillax, but start when you're ready. Don't ever rush when you're not ready. That's what Meridian really touched for me. I love that woman. I'll never forget her. Well, as you just heard, we had our guest Truman speak about the life of Meridian. It sounds like she lived a really tough life, and it made me feel really inspired. That she can be a woman who lives with everyone in her life leaving, and still think about helping the greater world. Well, if only most people could be inspired like that, our world would be so much better. That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching Prime Meridian News. This is Steven, and we'll see you on the prime time, in the prime time.
Wait, hold on. You. Your clothes aren't on.
What?
Your clothes aren't on.
What?
You literally can't see your